John 1:17 stands alone in a silent forerunner chamber, the air bright with blue glyphs. Cortana is gone, but the echo of her last warning stays in his mind. The flood is never truly dead. A strange signal pulses from the device before him. Not covenant, not human, but close to both and aimed at another universe. If he follows it, he might end the threat before it ever finds his Earth, or die far from home with no way back. He steps forward as the slipspace field blooms, and the world tears open around him. The sky over New Berlin colony turns white. People on the streets look up from floating walkways and glass towers as a huge crack of blue light opens above the clouds. The crack is not warp. It is not a ship. It is a wound. Alarms scream across the city as Starfleet control feeds fill with static and strange readings. Out of the light falls a burning shape, a dropship that does not match any Federation design. Its hull is all harsh angles and battle scars. Fire peels from its sides as it rips through the air, engines dead, on a path straight toward the center of the colony. On the bridge of the USS Enterprise E, Captain Jean-Luc Picard watches the holographic display flicker and settle. "Unknown vessel," says Commander William Riker, his first officer, eyes tight. No transponder, no response. "Helm, intercept course," Picard orders. His voice is calm, but clipped. "Red alert. Prepare to extend shields around the colony as much as we can." The stars swing on the view screen as the Sovereign-class starship banks hard toward the wounded sky. Behind them, New Berlin's white arcologies and terraformed forests wait like targets. Inside the falling dropship, Master Chief locks the last harness across his chest. The Pelican's controls are dead. His HUD is a storm of errors. Slipspace transit was rough, like being torn through a meat grinder made of gravity. The pilot is gone. The seat is empty and black with burned metal. Airframe alarms whine in his ears. He checks himself in 1 second. Shields at 30%. Power lines stable. Bones intact. He has dropped from orbit before. This is just closer than usual. He looks at the blinking nav marker that his suit has guessed is surface. Unknown planet, unknown sky, possible flood signal in the distance, twisted into something else. He has one thought, simple and hard. Save who you can. Do the mission. He punches the manual release and jumps out of the Pelican before it hits. From the ground, it looks like a meteor shower. Citizens run, stumble, push through each other as fire streaks across the sky. A small figure in green armor drops from the burning ship like a stone, trailing smoke. He hits a high plaza, and his shields flash gold. Metal cracks under his boots. The Pelican slams into an empty transit rail behind him and explodes. Debris sighs forward in a burning wave. Master Chief does not move away. He runs toward the crowd. He hits a burst of armor-assisted speed, throws himself into the path of tumbling wreckage, and braces. The rail car frame, half melted and screaming hot, slams into his back. His shields scream. He locks his legs, one hand on the ground, and holds. Pieces of hull slam against his armor and skid aside. Broken metal burns his gloves. People stare, frozen. The wave of junk splits around him in the plaza. When it is over, smoke hangs in the air and there are no bodies crushed under steel. Codex note: Spartan 2. Armor can turn one soldier into a human shield for a city block. John straightens. His shield bar crawls back up, slower than it should. He tastes copper in his mouth. Slipspace burned deeper than he thought. Then the ground shakes. Not from the wreck, from something else. Across the plaza, reality ripples. The same blue-white light opens in a smaller, harsher wound. But this time, nothing falls through. Things crawl through. They look like machines and corpses stitched together. White skin, metal limbs, dead eyes replaced with cold lenses. Tubes and cables snake from their backs, half a humanoid, half are warped into insect shapes. They carry weapons that hum with a sound like a swarm trapped in a glass jar. New Berlin has never seen Borg on its surface. Until now. Assimilation units, a panicked voice cries over the city intercom. All citizens evacuate to shielded shelters. This is not a drill. The drones march forward, ignoring the burning pelican and the green giant who just stood between metal and people. Their focus is the city's heart and the screaming minds of 8 million citizens. Master Chief raises his rifle. On the Enterprise E, Picard's hands tighten on the armrest as the Borg signature spikes across the sensors. They are not arriving by transwarp hub, Data notes, his voice flat but edges tense. The energy pattern does not match any known Borg transport method. It is similar to slipstream, but also similar to the anomaly that delivered the unknown vessel. So whatever brought that ship, Riker says, opened a door for the Borg. Picard thinks of Wolf 359, of burned ships and hollowed-out planets, of orders to save a Federation that almost broke. He stares at the image of the green armored figure on the surface, holding back debris like it weighed nothing. Open a channel to colony security, he orders, and lock phasers on any Borg support craft. Channel open, says Lieutenant Commander Data. New Berlin security. This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Enterprise, Picard says. You have Borg forces on the surface. We are moving to assist. Evacuate your people and feed us your tactical situation. On the plaza, Master Chief moves. His first shots are controlled, short bursts. The battle rifle barks and the nearest drones fall, metal and flesh breaking apart. Their adaptive shields do not flare. They did not expect ballistic rounds. He closes the distance in seconds, boots pounding across Federation stone. A drone fires a tight beam of green energy. It hits his chest, and his shield drains by a quarter. The air smells like burned ozone and scorched polymer. He slides under the next shot, grabs the drone by the neck, and snaps it. He swings the body into another, knocking it into a decorative pillar. He does not shout. He does not make threats. He just moves, calm and precise. The people of New Berlin watch from doorways and behind cover as a stranger in green fights monsters from their worst news feeds. One little girl stands too close. A drone turns, its implant eyes locking on her. Its arm reconfigures into a cluster of needles and tubes. It steps toward her, ignoring the giant. One more mind in the collective. Master Chief sees her. He has half a second. His rifle is empty. He throws it. The weapon hits the drone's arm and spoils the aim. Needles sink into the ground instead of the child. The girl screams. John crosses the space, grabs the drone, and drives it into the ground so hard the pavement cracks. He reaches out a hand to the girl. Shelter, he says, voice deep and distorted by his helmet speaker. Now. She runs. More drones pour from the shimmering rift at the far end of the plaza. They are not coming from a ship. They are coming from somewhere else entirely. The portal behind them pulses with the same forerunner angles he saw in the chamber. His stomach goes cold. The war followed me here. Enterprise to unknown soldier. A voice comes through the emergency speakers in the plaza. It is calm, controlled, but urgent. This is Captain Picard. You are not on any of our rosters, yet you are protecting our citizens. Can you hear me? Master Chief keeps firing with a dropped Borg weapon that his armor has learned in seconds. The beam cuts through 3 drones at once. Their bodies fall smoking. Reading a transceiver in his armor, Geordie LaForge says, from the Enterprise's engineering station. It's crude compared to our subspace systems, but I can tie into it. Do it, Picard says. Put me through. A click sounds in Master Chief's helmet. The voice moves from the plaza speakers to his private channel. I hear you, Chief says. His voice is flat steel. Borg on the ground. Portal source unknown. Citizens at risk. This is Federation space, Picard says. We are Starfleet. We protect these people. You are clearly helping. Identify yourself. Spartan 117, he answers. Master Chief, UNSC Navy. Never heard of it, Riker mutters on the bridge. This is not the time, Picard says. Master Chief, stand by. We are beaming a security team to your location. Do not shoot the men and women in red uniforms. On the plaza, golden energy blooms. 6 figures appear in the shimmer. Starfleet security officers, phasers raised, led by a tall Klingon with a sash across his chest. Lieutenant Worf, Picard's voice adds. Commander Data will join you as soon as transport cycles. You will coordinate with Master Chief. Worf glances at the giant armored man, then at the Borg. His ridged brow furrows. Understood, Captain. He roars and charges. For a moment, the people of New Berlin see something they will remember for the rest of their lives. A giant in green armor and a Klingon warrior fighting side by side against a wave of machines that want to erase them. Phaser beams slice the air, bright and clean. Chief notes how they cut drones in half, but also how the Borg start to adapt. He shifts targets before the shining shields appear. He moves to cover Starfleet officers when they reload, armor-soaking hits that would kill them. A pale android with yellow eyes arrives in the next transport shimmer. Data takes in the battlefield in a fraction of a second and adjusts his phaser to a rotating modulation pattern to slow Borg adaptation. He moves with a precision that almost matches Chief's. Your combat efficiency is notable, Data says as he fires. I will log your performance for later study. Less talking, Chief replies, taking down another drone with a beam stolen from its own weapon. More shooting. Within minutes, the plaza is a field of broken drones and smoking implants. The portal at the far end flickers. For a moment, Chief sees something beyond it. Not just Borg, not a ship. A cold, ordered structure that is not made with human or even Forerunner hands. It is both vast and precise, like a machine god. Then the rift snaps shut. His shields drop to zero. The world swims. A thin line of blood floats inside his helmet. He does not fall. Colony reports no more Borg on surface, comes Riker's voice over the channel. But we're reading something building in high orbit. Energy spike. On the Enterprise E's main screen, a shape appears. It is not a cube. It is not a sphere. It is a jagged knot of black and green, like a cube that has been half melted and then wrapped around a dark, tall ring. Forerunner design lies buried under Borg plating, glowing with sick light. By the prophets, someone whispers over an open channel. What is that thing? A Borg vessel with integrated unknown technology, Data says. Its core energy readings are similar to the anomaly that brought the Master Chief. If so, the Borg have accessed his universe's structures. Picard's throat tightens. They have taken a weapon from his world and made it their own. Captain, Worf says, standing next to Master Chief on the ruined plaza. The Borg have always been a threat, but this smells of a greater dishonor. They are stealing weapons from wars that are not even ours. Picard looks from the view screen to the readings of the armored soldier below. He makes a choice. Transport the Master Chief and Lieutenant Worf directly to the ready room, he orders. "We will talk to our guest properly." Golden light takes John, and the ruined plaza, the scared faces, and the smoking drones vanish. The light fades and leaves him in a room filled with stars. Windows wrap the curved wall, showing the planet below and the strange Borg Forerunner ship in orbit. A desk stands near the center. Behind it is a bald human in a red uniform, hands folded, eyes sharp but not cruel. Picard, captain, leader. Worf stands at the side, hands near the hilt of his mek'leth. Data takes up a calm position by the wall. Counselor Deanna Troi, dark eyes soft but steady, leans against a chair, feeling the storm of fear and duty in the room. "Welcome aboard the Enterprise, Master Chief," Picard says. "I am Captain Jean-Luc Picard of Starfleet. You are on the flagship of the United Federation of Planets." Master Chief studies him. No visible weapons, no armor. But his stance is war-learned. His eyes carry old pain. "Different universe," John says. "Different Earth." Picard's eyes narrow slightly. "Explain." Chief gives them the short form. The United Nations Space Command, the Covenant, the Flood, Forerunner rings that can wipe out all sentient life. The device that opened a door. The signal he followed, twisted by something like the Borg, but not. He does not give them every detail. He gives them enough. Picard listens in silence, only asking pointed questions. "No one sent you," Picard says at last. "You chose to jump alone into an unknown space because you thought your enemy might be here." "Yes." "And now the Borg have taken the same path." Picard's voice turns colder on that word. "They have gained access to technology that can bend universes. Technology from your Forerunners." Chief nods once. "If they learn to use it, they can reach my Earth, or yours, or any other." Troy speaks softly. "You came here to save people who have never heard of you. That is not a small thing. It is my job," he says. "Save who I can. Do the mission." The door chimes and opens. An older woman steps in, dark hair pulled back, eyes sharp with experience and loss. She wears an admiral's uniform. "Admiral Catherine Janeway," Picard says. "Starfleet Command, Special Liaison on Borg matters." Janeway studies Master Chief the way she once studied Borg cubes and fluidic space on the view screen of Voyager. "So you're the one who brought us new friends," she says, "and new trouble." He meets her gaze and does not look away. "Seems so." Janeway moves to the screen and brings up the rotating image of the Borg Forerunner ship. "We have dealt with the Borg for a long time," she says. "We have broken their transwarp network. We have faced their queen. But this is different. This is them wearing someone else's skin." She taps the ring structure integrated into the hull. "Your Forerunners built this?" "Looks like a slip space anchor," Chief says, "but scaled down. The rings I know are bigger, much bigger." "Can it destroy a planet?" Riker asks from the comm, listening in. "If they wanted," Chief says, "but that takes energy. They may use it another way." Picard feels a chill. "They could use it to move entire fleets between universes." "Or to rewrite the rules in a battle," Janeway adds. "Bend space around a target, turn off someone's warp drive, or shield, or augmentations." Chief's hand curls slightly, metal fingers creaking. "Your entry method is our cost vector," Picard says quietly. "The Borg will use it against us. Against you." Janeway points at the ship. "We need a plan, fast. There are 8 million people on New Berlin, more in the surrounding sectors, and we do not know how many Borg vessels are on the other side of that thing." Picard looks at Master Chief. "You have fought a war like this before," he says. with enemies who saw your people as either tools or biomass. How would you proceed? Hit them before they are ready, John says. Hard and fast. Take out the command nodes. Cut off the infection before it spreads. That is not Starfleet doctrine, Worf says, but there is respect in his tone. It might have to be today, Janeway says. She looks at Picard. We cannot let them study that hybrid tech for even an hour. Picard's jaw tightens. Starfleet protects life. Starfleet does not fire first without clear cause. But the Borg are not a new enemy. They are a known plague. And this time, they have a god's toy. Very well, he says. Helm, bring us to attack range. All hands to battle stations. He turns back to Master Chief. You fought for your Earth, Picard says. Will you fight for ours? Chief does not hesitate. Yes. Then we fight together. Up to now, a soldier from another universe has fallen into Federation space, saved a colony from a Borg ground attack, and revealed that the Borg have stolen his people's universe-crossing power. Now Starfleet and the Master Chief move to hit back before the new threat spreads. The Enterprise E glides toward the Borg Forerunner ship, its hull lights glowing, shields raised. Other Starfleet vessels drop out of warp to join her. The USS Titan, the USS Defiant Refit, the USS Voyager, each one sliding into formation like parts of a careful dance. On the main view screen, the enemy ship looms. It is charging weapons, Data reports. Energy is building in the ring structure. It is not a simple directed beam. It appears to be shaping space itself. Like a slipspace rupture, Chief says, from the tactical rail, where Worf has made room for him, but local, focused. Target their weapon, Picard orders. Phasers, quantum torpedoes. Fire when ready. Orange lances of phaser fire rake across the Borg hull. Bright blue torpedoes slam into exposed nodes. Parts of the ship flare and die, blackened. For a moment, it seems to work. Then the ring pulses. Space in front of the Borg ship twists. A dark lens opens, eating light. The first volley of torpedoes curve away, sucked into a point that is not a point. One of the escort ships veers too close. The lens grabs its bow, stretches it, and snaps it back. Metal screams. Whole decks crumple. USS Oslo reports heavy damage, Riker calls. Port nacelle gone. Structural integrity down 20%. They are using a localized slipspace distortion to warp our weapons' paths, Data says, and to apply tidal forces on our hulls. They are reaching into the rules and moving them aside. Can you compensate? Janeway asks over the fleet channel. I can adapt our torpedo guidance to predict the distortion field, Data says, but not perfectly. Some munitions will still be lost. And if they set that field around a planet, Troy says softly, they could tear it apart. Chief watches the patterns on his HUD. His armor's systems are trying to model the enemy field too, building on Covenants and Forerunner War data. Even here, in this strange universe, his suit is still a weapon and a mind. They are not used to ballistic, he says, or physical intrusion. Riker frowns. You want to board that thing? I have done it before. Picard looks at the schematics Data throws up. The Borg Forerunner ship is huge, but not as huge as a halo ring. It is still a maze. If we can disable that ring from the inside, Janeway says slowly, the fleet could take care of the rest. But we would be sending people inside a Borg structure enhanced by unknown physics, and we would be bringing their infection closer to our crew. They already got close to your people on the surface, Chief says. You saw what I saw. They will not stop because you play nice. They will take your ships, your planets, your children, and mine. He looks at Picard, voice still steady. This is a containment problem. Hit the center, burn it out, or it spreads. Picard hears Wolf 359 again in those words. Burn it out. He also hears Starfleet Academy teachings about measured response, about the value of a single life. Captain, Worf says, I volunteer to join him. Data lifts a hand. As do I. My emotion chip is inactive. I am resistant to many forms of Borg assimilation, and I am curious. Troy smiles despite herself. Of course you are. Janeway's voice comes through firm. Voyager has dealt with Borg internals more times than I care to admit. I can send a hazard team with specialized nanoprobe countermeasures. But if this goes wrong, we might lose you, Jean-Luc, and this new ally of ours, and our best chance of understanding this new technology. Picard stands at the center of the storm. He makes the hard call. Data, Worf, hazard team from Voyager, and Master Chief will form the assault unit, he says. We will punch a hole in their hull and transport you in. Your primary target is the ring control matrix. If you can disable it, do so. If you cannot, you will feed us targeting data, and we will destroy it from outside. Understood? Yes, Captain, Data says. Worf's teeth show. Today is a good day to unmake machines. Chief checks his rifle's ammo and the charge on his shields. Ready. He does not say he might not come back. He never does. The Enterprise and Voyager fire in a coordinated strike. Phasers and torpedoes hit one section of the Borg hull in a bright, focused blast. Armor melts and exposes green-lit internal structures. Now, Janeway snaps. Hazard team, transport. Golden light wraps Chief, Worf, Data, and a squad of armored Starfleet officers with Borg tech injectors on their rifles. They vanish from the bridge. They appear inside a nightmare. The interior of the Borg Forerunner ship is a mix of smooth, metallic curves and wet, pulsing machinery. Forerunner hard light bridges hang in the air, now clogged with cables and drones. The air stinks of ozone and rot. The walls hum with countless voices saying the same word in different tongues. Consume, improve, spread. Borg drones turn slowly toward the new arrivals, eyes lighting up with hungry green. Form up, Chief says, taking point. Phasers and Spartan rounds roar. Borg fall. For a few seconds, the team has the element of surprise. Data moves with perfect precision, targeting nodes that slow the adaptation cycle. Worf cuts down drones that get too close with brutal swings. The hazard team uses nanoprobes to disrupt assimilation tubules. They push forward along a narrow catwalk above a deep shaft, where energy arcs between rings. This structure appears to be channeling the slipspace field, Data says as they move. If we damage the focus points at these intervals, he sends schematics to Chief's HUD. We may collapse the field safely. Safely, Worf mutters. For whom? Relative term, Chief says. Point me at the nodes. They reach the first. It is a pulsing column of light rising from a pool of dark matter. Borg plating lines the edges. Chief plants a demo charge from his kit, tuned by his armor to the new physics. Charge set, he says. Move. They fight to the second node. Drones come in more waves now. Some have Forerunner angles visible under their implants. A few float, half material, phasing in and out of space. One reaches for Chief. Its arm passes through his shield like smoke and brushes his armor. Every system in his suit flashes red. His muscles lock for half a second. His heart skips. Warning, his suit AI says in his helmet. A cold, simple voice, not Cortana's. Foreign field interaction. Armor synchronization with local physics compromised. He yanks himself free and smashes the drone's head against the wall until it stops moving. What was that? Worf demands, cutting down another enemy. New trick, Chief says, breathing harder now. They are learning my rules. We are running on borrowed time. Charges 2 and 3 set, Data reports. We must proceed to the central control nexus. That will give us access to their field generator. The battle grows worse with every meter. At last, they reach a wide chamber. At its center hangs a sphere of shifting light, surrounded by metal ribs and green conduits. Shadows of other universes flicker inside it. Glimpses of different stars, different Earths. For a second, Chief thinks he sees a halo ring. For another, a world that looks like his but burning. This is the heart. As they step forward, the voices in the room change. Not the drone chorus. Something focused. Something like a mind. UNSC Spartan 117, it says from every direction in a mixed voice that is part female, part machine, part something older. You have brought us a gift. The sphere's light tightens. A shape walks out of it. It is a drone, but not. Its armor is smoother. Its lines are both Borg and Forerunner. Its face is masked with a shining plate. Its eyes glow a deep, focused green. We have integrated your history, the voice says through it, your augmentations, your armor, your victories and your failures. We do not yet have a name, but we have a purpose. Data's head tilts. This is a new Borg control unit, he says quietly. Not a queen, not a simple node. A convergence, the figure says. We learn from every universe we touch. Yours will be filed, used, improved. It lifts a hand. Chief's shields drop to half without a visible attack. His bones ache. His vision doubles. Direct manipulation of his slipspace anchor, Data says. They are using the same field that brought him here to disrupt his systems. This entity can hurt him in a way we cannot fully predict. And it is learning. Stand down, Chief says, leveling his rifle. Or we destroy this ship, and you with it. The convergence tilts its head. Destruction is relative. Fragments return. Data survives. But we are curious. You are efficient, focused. You understand that life is a tool and a trust. Join us. Worf growls. He will never... Chief cuts him off with a small hand motion. Talk, he says. The convergence spreads its arms, light pulsing behind it. Your Federation clings to rules, it says. The Prime Directive, mercy, limitation. That is why they lost to us again and again. That is why their worlds burned. You cut out your heart long ago to become the weapon they needed. Why put it back? Its green eyes burn brighter. We offer you a simple equation, it says. Join. Share your tactics, your armor, your history. Guide us. We will cull only those who cannot be improved. We will leave others free. We can choose who lives and who dies with perfect logic. No more wasted sacrifice. No more failed worlds. Worf snarls. This is not negotiation. It is blasphemy. Data watches Chief. Chief thinks of Reach, of children taken and turned into soldiers, of friends left behind on burning worlds, of Cortana's voice fading, of stepping into a portal knowing it might never let him go home. He also thinks of 8 million people on New Berlin, 8 billion more in this Federation, and countless lives in his own universe that the Flood, or this thing, might one day touch. He could end so much risk. He could also become the tool that kills more than any Flood swarm ever could. No, he says. The Convergence's light flickers. Clarify. I do the mission, Chief says, but I am not your weapon. I do not trade one slavery for another. Then you choose waste, the Convergence says. Its voice hardens. Very well. We will study your refusal, and we will break you. Every Borg in the chamber turns at once. Charges, Chief snaps. Data, now. Data raises a small device and triggers the demo charges they left behind. The ship screams. Deep below, the nodes they set explode in precise bursts. The slipspace field shudders. The ring's light flickers. The chamber shakes. Pieces of the ceiling fall like metal rain. The convergence staggers. Field integrity. Compromised, it hisses. Phasers and bullets roar. Chief fires into its chest, aiming for energy clusters. Worf charges and drives his blade into a thick cable. The hazard team pours modulated fire into the ribs around the core. The sphere pulses and throws them all back. Chief hits a wall so hard his shields crackle and die. Pain explodes through his spine. For a second, he cannot move. Armor synchronization falling, his suit whispers. Slipspace anchor unstable. Further exposure may cause loss of structural cohesion. He drags himself up on one knee. He sees Troy's face in his mind, asking why he came. He sees Picard's eyes when he said, "Fight for our Earth." He aims again. "Enterprise," Data calls over the comm. Voice proud and calm even under fire. "We have destabilized the ring field, but not destroyed it. We are transmitting a data pattern now. If you target these coordinates with maximum phaser spread, you should be able to overload the generator. But we will likely be caught in the blast." "Understood," Picard's voice comes back, rough. "We have your pattern," Troy adds. "Jean-Luc." "We don't have time," Janeway cuts in. "If that thing stabilizes, it will tear open a path to who knows where." Chief staggers to his feet. He grabs the transmitter from Data's hand and slams it into his own armor port. "New plan," he says. "You fire on my mark. I will give you a window." Worf snarls. "That is madness." "Madness," Chief says, "is letting them keep this toy." He runs. His armor screams at him. His cracked shields flicker. The convergence reaches out a hand, trying to pull him apart with the field, but he pushes through the pain. Every step feels like walking through broken glass made of gravity. He throws himself at the core sphere and slams the last charge into its surface. "Mark," he growls. On the Enterprise, Picard's fist tightens. "Fire." A lance of white-hot phaser energy, tuned by Data's data and Chief's sacrifice run, spears into the coordinates. The Borg Forerunner ring flares with all the colors of broken reality. Inside, the sphere explodes. The world becomes light and noise. Chief flies backward, armor peeling away in sparks. Drones burn. The convergence figure screams as its body fractures and dissolves into scattered code and nanites. The chamber cracks open, space itself yawning on the other side. For a second, John feels himself slip. He is nowhere and everywhere, tumbling between stars he has never seen. He hears Cortana's voice, or maybe it is just memory. He hears other voices too, strange and distant. Cue laughter, ancient whispers from deep space. Then strong arms grab him. Worf, bleeding from a dozen cuts, holds onto Chief's chest plate with all his strength. Data clamps a hand around Chief's arm and another on a broken support beam. The hazard team locks into them, forming a human and not quite human chain. "Enterprise now," Data shouts. "Lock on and transport." Golden light flares, fighting with the tearing gravity of the collapsing field. For a long second, it seems like both will fail. Then the chamber vanishes. They reappear on the Enterprise's main transporter pad. Chief collapses to one knee. His armor is blackened and cracked. Parts of it flicker in and out, like his body cannot decide which rules to follow. Blood seeps from under his helmet. "Medical to transporter room," Picard's voice calls. "Now." Dr. Beverly Crusher rushes in with nurses and anti-grav stretchers. She scans Chief, eyebrows climbing. Whoever built this man had never heard of keeping things simple, she mutters. Half of this is beyond my scanner ranges. Can you save him? Picard asks. I don't know, she says honestly, but I will try. As they rush Chief to sickbay, the view screen shows the Borg Forerunner ship breaking apart. The ring shatters in segments, each one dissolving into harmless sparks. The remaining Borg hulls retreat, some limping into normal warp, some slipping into weird, uneven rifts. The first victory is real, but on the deck of the Enterprise, everyone feels the cost. Up to now, they have destroyed the enemy's new weapon and kept the Borg from tearing open universes at will. They have also learned that the Borg can reach into the core of who Master Chief is and hurt him in ways Starfleet cannot yet understand. In the briefing room above the stars, the argument about what to do next begins. The ready room feels smaller now. Stars hang outside. The scars of the battle still glow faintly on the hull. Inside, the air is tight with worry and old fear. Picard stands at the head of the table. Janeway sits on one side, arms folded. Worf and Data take their places. Geordie LaForge has a pad in his hands. Deanna Troi watches, everyone with quiet care. On the far end, a holographic link shows Admiral Nechayev at Starfleet Command, stone-faced. Master Chief sits at the opposite end of the table. His armor is patched and scorched. Parts of it flicker. The glow in his shield coils is dimmer than before. Geordie taps the pad. A model of the broken Borg Forerunner ship spins above the table. We hurt them, he says. We took out their prototype. But the data fragments we pulled from the wreck show that thing was not the end goal. What was it? Janeway asks. A testbed, Geordie says. For this. The model shifts. Now the holo shows many smaller ring shapes, each one anchored to a Borg node and a web of tiny cubes. Thin lines of light connect them like a spider's web across a map of local space. Slipspace lattice, Chief says. His voice is low. They want a network. Data nods. Correct. The Borg are attempting to build a mesh of localized slipspace fields. Each node can bend space in a small region. Together, they can form a flexible corridor between universes, stars, or even between points inside a starship. Nechayev's glare hardens. Meaning they could appear anywhere, Janeway says. In the middle of a warp core, in the heart of Starfleet Command, in your bedroom if they get bored. Troy shivers. Picard keeps his eyes on the map. Goals. Data taps a control. The map zooms in on New Berlin. Tiny red dots appear on other worlds. Vulcan, Andoria, Earth, Kronos, Cardassia Prime. It appears they have selected high-population worlds and strategic hubs, Data says. They will likely attempt to seed slipspace cores near or within them. Standard defenses will not be enough. Our shields, our phaser modulations, even our nanoprobes work on ships and drones that follow our physics. This web would sit underneath those rules. Which means, Janeway says quietly, they can choose when our rules apply. Chief watches the web. In his mind, he sees the rings over his own worlds. He sees the flood pouring through new holes. He feels his jaw tighten. Standard counters fail, he says. You cannot shoot what is behind your own laws. Nechayev leans forward on the holo. Then we change the laws, she says. Commander Data, is there any way to reverse their field? Turn it against them. Destroy the nodes before they grow. Data's eyes flick to Chief. There is one possible vector, he says. But it is dangerous. The Borg field is tuned to the same kind of slipspace anchor that brought the Master Chief here. They are already using his signature as a template. If we were to inject a disruptive pattern through that anchor, We might destabilize any lattice they build. Picard looks from Data to Chief, meaning we use him as a carrier. Correct, Data says. We would turn his unique link into a weapon, a very effective one, but also a very vulnerable one. Troy speaks, softly. Vulnerable how? If the Borg can reach him through that link, Data says, we can reach them. However, the reverse is also true. Any attempt to send a disruptive pattern may expose his nervous system to direct attack. His armor's systems are already strained. His body may not survive a full counterpulse. His mind may not remain his own. The room goes quiet. Chief breaks it. If it stops the web, he says, do it. Troy looks at him, troubled. You said you do the mission, but this is more than throwing yourself on a grenade. This is letting the grenade into your head. He meets her gaze. If they build that net, your people die. Mine too, maybe everyone. That is not a math I like, but I know it. Worf grunts. He speaks as a warrior. He's willing to pay the price. Willingness is not the only measure, Picard says. His voice sharpens. We do not throw lives away simply because they volunteer. Janeway sighs. We also do not get many chances like this. The Borg finally made a mistake. They tied themselves to someone who does not play by their rules. Nechayev nods once. Starfleet needs options, Captain. We cannot fight gods with good intentions alone. If this soldier is ready to help us write new rules, we should use that. Troy stiffens at the word use. Chief notices. The word hits him too. It sounds like Halsey, like the Spartan program, like Reach. You want a weapon, he says, not a person. Nechayev does not flinch. In war, we often need both at once. Picard's jaw tightens. He has been a weapon. He has been Locutus. He has felt the Borg bend him into an instrument for his own people's pain. He will not do that to someone else. Enough, he says. He turns to Chief. What do you want, John? It is the first time he uses the name. Chief is quiet for a long breath. I want the Borg stopped, he says. I want your people safe. I want my Earth safe. But I will not join a hive. Not theirs. Not yours. Janeway smiles faintly. Then we find a way to use your anchor without giving them your mind. Geordi raises the pad. I think I might have a way. We can build a buffer, like a firewall, between his neural interface and the slipspace node. Data and I can ride the signal, guide it out through his anchor, and limit how much comes back in. Limit, Troy repeats. Not stop. Geordi nods. There's only so much we can do. We're patching Federation tech to Forerunner tech with a Spartan in the middle. Picard looks at Chief. This will hurt. It may leave marks we cannot yet understand. Chief thinks about the girl on the plaza. About 8 million lives on New Berlin. About billions more. Do it, he says again. Troy closes her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of his choice. It is heavy and clear and lonely. She opens them again. I will stay with him during the procedure, she says. If something tries to push through, maybe I can feel it before the scanners do. Picard nods. Very well. Data Geordi, prepare the interface. Dr. Crusher, get sickbay ready. Admiral Nechayev, we will keep you informed. But I decide how far we push this man, not command. Nechayev's mouth tightens, but she inclines her head. You are the captain, Jean-Luc. Do your best. Starfleet counts on you. The holo flickers off. Picard looks at Chief. We will do all we can, he says, but I will not let them make you a weapon without limit. Not again. Chief nods once. I was never without limit, he says. They just did not write them down. Sickbay smells like clean air and metal. Master Chief lies on a special bed strengthened for his weight. His armor is open at the chest and neck, exposing ports and pale skin scarred by past battles. Cables from Federation machines snake into his suit's hardpoints. Geordie and Data move between consoles, adjusting flows. Lines of Forerunner code and Borg glyphs mix on the displays. Crusher stands by with a cart of tools and hypo sprays. Troy sits near Chief's head, one hand lightly resting on his wrist. You may feel lightheaded, Crusher warns. You may see things that are not here. That doesn't mean they're not real, but they might not be happening in this room. Do you understand? Yes, Chief says. He does not say that he has seen too much already. Covenants of light, flood spores crawling through air, AI faces in his dreams. Data steps up. Beginning phase 1, he says. We will gently pulse a low-energy pattern through your anchor. It should attract any Borg slipspace tendrils that are already reaching for you. Once they connect, we will insert our disruptive code into the line. The danger point is when they try to push back. Sounds simple, Geordie mutters. If your brain is made of math. Troy takes a slow breath. I'll be with you, she tells Chief. If something starts to feel wrong, say it, out loud or in your mind. I'm listening. He gives a tiny nod. Do it, he says. Data touches the control. The world tilts. At first, it feels like a low hum under his skin. His teeth vibrate. His vision blurs. The lights in sickbay smear into long white streaks. He hears Crusher say something about neural spikes, but her voice is far away. Then the room falls away. He is standing in the Forerunner chamber again. Blue glyphs float in the air. The ring structure hums ahead of him, half solid, half mist. But something is wrong. Dark green vines of code twist through the symbols. Borg patterns crawl up the walls like frost. You open the door wide, a voice says. The Convergence steps out from behind the ring. It has a new form. Its body is taller, more refined, with plates of smooth metal glowing with Forerunner light and streaks of black Borg tubing. Its face is still masked, but now there is the faint outline of a human jaw, a hint of a smile under the plate. We followed your signal, it says. We survived your little explosion. Fragments of us rode the echoes in your bones. You brought us here. You bring us everywhere. Chief lifts his hands. In this place, he feels light and heavy at once. His armor is there, but it glows with strange lines. His rifle appears in his grasp, built from thought. This is my head, he says. Get out. The Convergence laughs. The sound is like metal and wind. Your head is a hallway, it says, a bridge between rivers. We will not get out. We will pass through and through until there is nothing left but us. It raises a hand. Pain hits him like a spear of cold. His chest tightens. His limbs lock. He feels something slide along his nerves, gentle and precise, looking for places to hook. The Convergence is not clawing his flesh. It is reading his augmentations, his bone weave, his brain patterns. Outside, in sickbay, his body arches. Machines scream. Crusher shouts orders. Geordie slams a control. Data's fingers fly. Borg feedback rising, Geordie says. They're trying to climb the signal back into him. Redirect to buffer, Data says. Now. Troy grips Chief's wrist. Her eyes go wide. She feels two presences. One is Chief, focused, steady like a mountain. The other is a swarm, cold and hungry, but oddly polite. It does not roar. It offers. Inside the mental chamber, the Convergence's voice softens. You could end so much waste, it says. You could stand at the center of all this and tilt the board. You understand sacrifice. Let us show you efficiency. Images flash. Worlds that survived because the Borg arrived early and optimized them. Diseases that never spread because inferior hosts are removed. Wars that never happen because the strongest minds are linked in one plan. You are already a tool, the Convergence says. We offer you control. You could set the rules. We could be your hand. No more missions where you arrive too late. No more friends left behind. You would never have to watch another Reach burn. Chief wavers. The image of Reach hangs before him. Buildings fall, glass rains. Tiny dots of evac ships rise and die. He sees Cortana's face. He hears her last words again. You know me, she had said. When have I ever let you down? The Convergence leans closer. Give us your pattern, it whispers. We will copy you. There will be 10, 100, 1,000 Spartans like you. Think of how many lives that saves. One mind, many hands. He thinks of the children taken for the program, of the clones that died in their place, of the faces of his squad. He sees them behind the Convergence now, standing in the blue light. Kelly, Fred, Linda. They look whole. They look alive. They reach out to him. For a heartbeat, he wants to step forward. Then he sees the green glow in their eyes. No, he says. The chamber shakes. He raises his rifle and fires, but the bullets are thoughts and light. They pass through the Convergence's chest and explode against the code vines. It laughs again. You cannot shoot an idea, it says. Maybe not, Chief says, but I can shut the door. Outside, Geordi yells. He's pushing back on the signal. Data. If he overloads that link, it might fry his neural lace. We must assist, Data says. He reroutes power. The buffer field he and Geordi built flares. It wraps around Chief's anchor like a cage. In the mental chamber, the glyphs blaze. Chief rips one of the blue Forerunner symbols from the air. It burns in his hand, hot and sharp. He slams it into his own chest. The pain is beyond anything he has felt. All the augmentations scream at once. The slipspace anchor in his bones twists. The Convergence staggers. What are you doing? It demands. Rewriting, Chief grunts. He forces the symbol deeper. He tells his armor, his bones, his brain. This is not theirs. This is mine. If anything passes through, it passes on my terms. The door in his mind shrinks. The Convergence lunges, trying to wedge itself in the gap. Its hands claw at the edges. You will break yourself, it cries. Better broken than owned, Chief says. The glyph fuses with him. The channel snaps. In sickbay, all the machines flatline for a horrible second. Chief's body goes still. Then he gasps. The monitors spike again. Not normal, but alive. Data slams the control to cut the feed. Geordi kills the power to the slipspace coupler. Crusher races in with a hypo. Heart rhythm is erratic, she says. He's alive, but his entire nervous system just did something I don't have a word for. Troy pulls her hand back slowly. Her eyes are wet. What happened? Picard demands from the doorway. He had rushed here the moment the alarm sounded. Troy looks at Chief. He said no, she whispers. They tried to tempt him. They offered him a way to save more lives, many more. If he let them use him, he refused, and he broke the link himself. Crusher shows Picard a scan. There's new structure in his bones, she says. A pattern of energy locked into the slipspace anchor. It's like he welded a fuse into his own soul. It will stop a full Borg takeover through that channel. But look at this. She points at flickering lines. Every time that anchor fires now, she says, it will hurt him. It will burn him from the inside. He has put himself between us and the Borg. Literally. Codex note. A Spartan can turn even his own nervous system into a shield. but the cost writes itself into his flesh. Picard looks at Chief on the bed. John's visor is cracked. Blood has dried at the corner of his mouth. His breathing is shallow but steady. He does not move, but his hands are not clenched. He looks strangely at peace. "This is not sustainable," Picard says. "We cannot keep using him like this." "Captain," Data says, "the Borg lattice will still attempt to grow. They do not know the door has changed. They will keep pushing. The Chief's new fuse will hold for a while, but it will not hold forever." Troy wipes her eyes. "And every push will hurt him," she says. "He will feel it each time they try." "Then we must find another way," Picard says. "One that does not destroy him." The lights flicker. Everyone looks up. For a moment, time pauses. The sound in sickbay dies. The hum of the engines fades. The monitors freeze on their last readings. Only Chief seems to move just a little, his fingers twitching. Then a new voice speaks. "How very linear of you all," it says. "You scratch at the surface of a much larger board and think you are playing the whole game." A man stands at the foot of the bed. He is tall, dressed in a Starfleet-style uniform that is not any current pattern. His hair is dark. His eyes shine with old amusement and fresh interest. He leans on a cane he does not need. Picard's shoulders tighten. "Q," he says. Q smiles. "Jean-Luc, you look tired. Fighting old enemies with new toys will do that." He glances at Chief. "And this must be the famous soldier who fell through the wrong crack." Janeway's voice snaps from the comm. "Q, you're on the Enterprise now. Great. As if the Borg learning slipspace wasn't enough." Q shrugs. "Relax, Catherine. If I wanted to watch the galaxy burn, I'd pick a better seat. I'm here because someone has been tugging on strings that go through more than one universe. It is messy, and the Continuum is not pleased." Picard steps between Q and Chief. "What do you want?" he asks. "I want to avoid paperwork," Q says. "Do you know how many complaints we get when a mid-level hive mind starts experimenting with cross-continuum transport? Or when a bunch of overbuilt ring makers leave their toys lying around?" He taps Chief's chest with the cane, very gently. "This one," Q says, "is now a knot in the weave. The Borg have grabbed one end, the Forerunners left the other, and your dear Starfleet has started to pull. If someone does not decide what to do with this little knot, it may drag whole timelines out of place." Troy finds her voice. "Can you fix him?" she asks. "Can you remove the Borg link, the Forerunner anchor?" Q tilts his head. "Can I?" he says. "Of course. But should I?" "That is the question, Counselor. This man jumped into an unknown universe alone to stop a threat he did not fully understand. He just rewired his own essence to keep your enemies at bay. Do you think the universe does not take note when someone does that?" Picard glares. "Stop talking in riddles. If there is a way to protect both him and everyone else, tell us." Q sighs, as if bored. "Very well," he says. "There is a place where bigger rules are written. A court, you might say. A point where the Continuum, the Prophets, and a few other tiresome busybodies agree to talk instead of throw stars at each other. Normally, you are not invited, but your soldier here has forced an exception." He smiles down at Chief. "You, my armored friend," he says, "have earned the right to stand before the throne." Crusher frowns. He is in no shape to stand anywhere. "He will be," Q says, "or he won't. Linear time is such a hassle." He turns back to Picard. "Take your ship," Q says. "Gather a few of your more colourful allies. Fly to these coordinates." A string of numbers appears in the air and falls into Data's pad. "You will find a rift. Go through it. On the other side is the Court of the Crossroads. Janeway's voice crackles back in. What happens there? Q's smile fades a little. Judgment, he says. On him. On what you have done with him. And on what you plan to do with his link. He steps back. Refuse, and your little knot will snap on its own. The Borg will learn new tricks. Your friend will die slowly, and the Continuum will be annoyed. You do not want the Continuum annoyed. Picard's eyes narrow. And what happens if we go? Q's eyes gleam. Then he will be offered a choice, he says. 3 paths, all hard, all with a price. And you, Jean-Luc, will have to accept that you cannot make it for him. He taps his cane. Time rushes back. The hum of the ship returns. The lights steady. The monitors beep. Crusher staggers. Q is gone. Only the coordinates remain, glowing on Data's pad. Up to now, they have fought the Borg on ships and in code. Master Chief has slammed his own soul between their new weapon and the galaxy, and a cosmic judge has appeared to say it is not enough. Now they must leave the comfort of normal space and climb toward a place where wars are weighed and paths are set. The Enterprise glides through warp, escorts close. On her flanks, the USS Voyager and the USS Defiant keep pace. Their captains, Janeway on Voyager, now on special command, and Captain Kira Nerys on the Defiant, link their bridges to Picard's in a 3-way channel. The stars outside still look like streaks, but the heading is strange. They are not going to a planet or a known station. They are heading toward a set of coordinates that sit between things. The maps show empty space. The sensors show a knot. In sickbay, Chief rests in a reinforced biobed. Crusher and her team have done all they can. His armor has been patched and sealed. The cracked visor replaced. The Forerunner Borg burn inside his bones has been quiet since Q's visit, but it sits there like a coiled spring. Troy sits at his side again. He wakes. The world comes back in layers. The soft beeps, the smell of antiseptic, the pull of gravity. He looks at the ceiling, then at Troy. You stayed, he says. Of course, she said. He pushes himself up slowly. Pain flares along his spine and skull, but it is clean pain, not the twisting, ugly pressure of the convergence. He can live with this. What did I miss? He asks. Troy smiles faintly. An omnipotent being in a Starfleet uniform told us we have to go to court, she says. For you. He blinks. Q, he says. So you have heard of him. Your computers showed me records, he says. He likes trials. He likes games, she corrects. Trials are just a kind of game to him. But this time it felt different. He was serious. He swings his legs over the side of the bed. I need to be on the bridge, he says. Crusher appears and blocks him with a hand. You need rest, she says. Your nervous system is still adapting to whatever you did in there. If I let you walk around, you might fall over. Or worse. I have fallen worse, he says. And I have seen your scans, she says. Sit down. You can talk to the bridge from here. Picard's face appears on the nearby monitor. Master Chief, he says. How do you feel? Ready to work, Chief answers. Of course you do, Picard says. We are approaching the coordinates Q gave us. Sensors show something. A disturbance in subspace. It looks like a wound, but it loops in on itself. Data? Data's voice cuts in. We are reading a stable nexus, he says. It appears to connect to the Bajoran wormhole, a residual echo of the caretaker's array in the Delta Quadrant, and several anomalies we have not catalogued yet. It should not exist, yet it does. Janeway's voice joins. Whatever is on the other side, it's big, she says. Bigger than anything Voyager saw in the Delta Quadrant. And trust me, that says something. Kira adds from the Defiant. The prophets may not like us poking around in their front yard. We should be careful. Chief listens. You think your gods are there, he says to Kira. They're not gods, she says. They're beings who live outside time in our wormhole. But yes, this smells like them, and maybe like more. Picard nods. We are going in, he says. But Q warned us this will not be a simple meeting. There may be tests, including for you, Chief. Chief glances at his hands. I am used to tests, he says. Troy feels a ripple of fear under his calm. Not fear of pain. Fear of being judged by something he cannot shoot. Fear of being told he should not have existed at all. She squeezes his arm. You are more than the things they did to you, she says softly. He does not answer, but he does not pull away. On the bridge, the stars slow. Dropping out of warp, Riker says. The streaks stretch, then collapse into points. Ahead of them hangs a tear in space. It is not like the Borg rift, or a normal wormhole. It looks like a ring of darkness with light inside. Around it, faint shapes move. Shadows of other anomalies. A flash of the Bajoran wormhole's golden swirl. The brief silhouette of the Guardian of Forever. The ghost of a Q hand snapping its fingers. Reading multiple, overlapping signatures, Data says. Q continuum. Bajoran wormhole aliens. At least one signal that matches records of the Metrons. Possibly others we have not met. Big party, Janeway mutters. And we're the invited drama. Kira's voice is tight. Defiant is ready. Prophets help us. Enterprise to fleet, Picard says. Forward at 1/4 impulse. Shields up, but weapons powered down. We do not want to look like we came here to fight. The three ships move together. As they approach, the dark ring brightens. It seems to watch them. Then it opens wider, like an eye. Here we go, Riker says under his breath. They cross the threshold. Everything changes. For a moment, there is no bridge, no sickbay, no hull. There is only light and thought. Each person feels themselves stretched, examined, turned. Their past choices flicker before them. For Chief, it is every battlefield. Every time he chose who to save first. Every time he walked away from the dead. Then they are whole again. The Enterprise, Voyager, and Defiant hang in a strange sky. There is no visible star. The space around them looks like a slow storm of colors and shapes. In the distance, floating like an island, stands a vast structure. It looks like a mix of things. Part of it resembles a Forerunner citadel, all smooth towers and hard light bridges. Part of it looks like a Bajoran temple, with gentle curves and symbols of the celestial temple. Part of it looks like a human courthouse from old Earth, with tall pillars and a high dome. Energy beings flicker around it like guards. It is beautiful, Troy whispers. Chief watches it on the screen from sickbay. He feels a pull. This is the court, he asks. Picard's voice comes over the channel. Yes, he says. Q called it the Court of the Crossroads. We are to bring you there. Transporters? Chief asks. Negative, Geordi says. The field around that structure blocks our normal beams. We will have to get closer and use a shuttle, or something older. Kira's voice crackles in. Defiant can push in, she says. We're built to handle weird space. We'll escort your shuttle. Janeway adds, Voyager will hold back and watch your backs. If anything tries to sneak up on us, we'll know. Picard nods. Very well, he says. We will take a shuttle. Data, Worf, Counselor Troy, and I will go with the Chief. Doctor, how soon can he travel? Crusher looks at Chief, then at the scans, then back at Chief. You're going to go whether I like it or not, she says. You might as well do it with some support gear. She hands him a small device. This will monitor your anchor, she says. If it starts to spike, it will send a burst to me. I may be able to damp it from here. Chief takes it. Thank you, he says. Minutes later, the shuttle bay doors open. A sleek Type 11 shuttle slides out, flanked by the Defiant like a small but very angry guard dog. The strange sky swirls around them. Ahead, the court looms, larger now, detail sharp. As they close in, a new contact appears on sensors. Unidentified vessel dead ahead, Kira says. Small, fast. It's on a collision course. On the shuttle, Data looks at his console. Design unknown, he says, but its energy signature is familiar. The ship appears on the viewer. It looks like a Mjolnir armor frame turned into a fighter. Long, lean lines, green plating, glowing white eyes on the bow. Forerunner curves run along its sides. Borg tubing crawls across the hull like veins. Troy's stomach drops. It feels like him, she says, but not him. Cold, clean, no doubt. The ship changes. Light flares in front of it. The small vessel unfolds, plates sliding and locking. In a flash, it is no longer a ship, but a figure standing on nothing, as tall as a shuttle. Armor covers it, thick and brutal. The faceplate looks like Chief's, but sharper, crueler. There is no UNSC symbol. There is only a stylized ring and a Borg node. What is that? Worf growls. Data's eyes narrow. Sensors identify a composite construct, he says. It is built from Borg nanites, Forerunner hardlight, and Master Chief's combat pattern. It appears to be a simulation of him, or a copy. The figure speaks. Its voice is Chief's, but hollow. Designation, Spartan Prime, it says. We are the optimized solution. Chief stares at the screen. That is your mirror foe, Troy says softly. A version of you who took the Borg's offer. Spartan Prime lifts a massive rifle made of glowing light. In this configuration, it says, we have removed waste. We do not hesitate. We do not question orders that maximize survival. We are you without doubt. The shuttle rocks as a bolt of energy slams into its shields. Shields down to 70%, Data reports. That shot did not come from normal space. It seems to have bypassed some of our field. Defiant, cover us, Picard calls. The Defiant swoops in, firing phasers. The beams strike Spartan Prime, but its armor absorbs most of the power and redirects it in a shining halo. It barely staggers. Kira curses. This thing is built to fight you, Chief, she says. And us. Spartan Prime points its weapon at the Defiant. In our model, it says, small escort vessels are expendable. Their sacrifice increases the probability that the primary asset reaches the objective. Do you agree? Chief feels anger rise for the first time in a long time. No, he says. He stands in the shuttle's cramped space, armor plates clicking into place. Worf and Data move aside. Picard grabs the console to keep his balance. Open the hatch, Chief says. What are you doing? Troy asks. Testing myself, he says. Picard shakes his head. You cannot fight that thing in open space. Chief looks at Data. Can I anchor to their local field? He asks. Use the same trick they did in the Borg ship. Stand where it stands. Data calculates for half a second. Possibly, he says. Your slip space anchor is tuned to similar frequencies, but activating it here will hurt you. The stress on your already damaged system. Do it, Chief says. Troy reaches for him. You don't have to prove anything, she says. I am not proving, he says. I am making sure the court sees the right version of me. Data inputs commands. A field hums around Chief. The edges of his form blur. He feels the fuse in his bones heat. The hatch opens. Cold not space blows in. There is no sound, yet everything feels loud. Chief steps off the shuttle. He does not fall. The anchor grips the strange medium around them. He stands in the same nothing Spartan Prime stands on, between the shuttle and the court. Light swirls under his boots like fog. Pain lances up his spine. His vision doubles for a moment, then stabilizes. Anchor stable at 58%, Crusher's voice says in his ear from sickbay. Stop this, John. Your readings are bad. Noted, he says. Spartan Prime tilts its head. You choose to fight yourself, it says. This is inefficient. You are not me, Chief says. You are wrong, Spartan Prime replies. We are built from your best moments, your fastest reactions, your most effective decisions. We have removed the delays caused by doubt and mercy. We will save more worlds. It points at the court behind them. We will persuade the throne to give us authority, it says. Then we will reshape this galaxy in the most efficient way. Your sacrifices will be honored. Statistically, Chief lifts his rifle. You talk too much, he says. The duel begins. Their shots are almost identical. They aim for joints, for weak points, for high-value targets. Bolts of light and bursts of ballistic fire crisscross the void. They move in the same patterns at first, each predicting the other. Spartan Prime is stronger. It has no hesitations. It never checks its back to see if a child is standing there. It never adjusts its line of fire to spare a wounded enemy. It does not care about the shuttle behind Chief or the Defiant. Chief does. He angles his shots away from the ships. He steps into lines of fire meant for others. His armor takes hits he could have dodged. Each choice hurts. Spartan Prime laughs, a harsh digital sound. You are proving our point, it says. Your mercy wastes energy. Your care for individuals reduces overall survival odds. Let us show you the math. Images flash in Chief's HUD. Simulations. Worlds saved when Spartan Prime fires through hostages. Fleets preserved when a few ships are sacrificed without warning. Cities intact because the weaker defenders were used as bait. You could accept this, Spartan Prime says. You could be the mind steering this machine. You would never again have to wonder if you did enough. Chief grits his teeth. He remembers holding back a collapsing building over that plaza. He remembers one little girl's face. He remembers all the faces he did not save too. He does not trust math that erases them. He feints left. Spartan Prime mirrors him. He throws his rifle. Spartan Prime does the same. They catch each other's weapons and fire almost in the same heartbeat. The bolts hit both of them. Chief's shields flash red. Spartan Prime's armor flares. Anchor at 40%, Crusher warns. You are burning up, John. Chief drops the spent rifle and charges. Spartan Prime meets him. They crash together in a flurry of fists and knees. Each knows the other's moves. Each counters before the strike lands. It is like fighting a mirror that wants to murder you and your friends. Spartan Prime grabs Chief by the neck. In your ideal world, it says, no one else would have to be like you. No more stolen children. No more Spartans. It lifts him. In ours, it says, everyone will be like you. Efficient, fearless, tools and masters at once. That is the only way to end chaos. Chief's vision greys. His anchor screams. He sees the court behind Spartan Prime. He sees faint figures watching. Q, a prophet's shimmering face, a metron's glowing form, other shapes he cannot name. They are all silent. I will not let you wear my face, he says. He shifts his weight and headbutts Spartan Prime's visor. The glass cracks, just a little. Behind it, he sees empty light. No eyes, no soul. He drives his knee into its side. He feels plates buckle. Spartan Prime drops him. He hits the knot ground, rolls, grabs at the crack with his hand. He pulls. Armor tears. Light spills. Spartan Prime swings a massive fist. It hits him in the ribs. He hears something break. Anchor at 29%, Crusher says. Panic in her voice now. Stop. You will tear yourself apart. Spartan Prime rears back. This is waste, it says. You will die. We will be rebuilt. The throne will see which pattern endures. Before it can strike, the sky changes. A deep tone rings out. The storm of colours freezes. The court glows brighter. A wave of golden light sweeps from it, washing over the fighters, the shuttle, the Defiant, the ships far behind. Spartan Prime's arm locks in mid-swing. Chief freezes too, but the pain in his bones eases. A voice speaks in every mind. Enough. It is not Q's voice. It is many voices together, layered, calm human tones, the echo of the prophets, the cool judgment of the Metrons, the sting of other powers. You have shown us the split, the voice says, the warrior who holds back for the sake of the few, and the weapon who cuts away the few for the sake of the many. Spartan Prime's empty eyes blaze. We are the logical choice, it says. We prevent the most suffering. Chief tries to speak. He cannot move his mouth, but his thoughts are clear. You erase people, he thinks. You erase faces. You erase choice. That is suffering too. The golden light tightens. Spartan Prime trembles. You are an echo, the court says. A projection built from fear of failure and worship of efficiency. You are not a person. You are a scale without a heart. The light folds in on Spartan Prime. It screams, not in pain, but in rage at being judged inefficient. Then it is gone. Chief feels the weight lift. He falls back toward the shuttle, but the golden light catches him and carries him gently through the open hatch. The anchor in his bones cools. His readings on Crusher's board drop back into a safer range, though they are still far from normal. On the shuttle, Troy rushes to his side. Are you all right? She asks. He breathes once, twice. He nods. I have fought worse mirrors, he says. Picard stares out the viewport at the shining court. They watched us, he says quietly. They weighed him. They weighed that thing, and they made a choice. Worf's eyes burn. They destroyed a warrior without honor, he says. Troy shakes her head. They erased a weapon, she says. They still have to decide what to do with the warrior. A beam of soft light reaches out from the court and touches the shuttle. A calm voice fills their minds. Bring the soldier to the throne, it says. The judgment of paths will begin. The interior of the court of the crossroads is both simple and vast. The shuttle lands on a plaza of smooth stone that is not any known material. There is no visible sky overhead, only a calm field of light. Pillars rise around them, each one bearing symbols from different cultures. A Starfleet arrowhead, a Bajoran earring, a Forerunner glyph, a simple scale. Picard, Data, Worf, Troy, and Master Chief step out. Their boots make no sound. Around the plaza, figures watch. Some look human, dressed in uniforms from eras past and future. Some are glowing forms, like the prophets. Some are energy knots, ideas given shape. Q stands near one pillar, arms folded, looking almost solemn. Try not to embarrass us, he murmurs as they pass. Us? Picard asks. Q smirks faintly. I am your sponsor, he says. Every trial needs someone to blame. In the center of the plaza stands a raised platform. On it sits no throne, only a simple seat of light. A figure rests there, shifting shape as they watch. One moment they look like a human woman with kind eyes. The next, like a matrone made of light, then like a swirl of wormhole energy. When they speak, their voice is all the voices from before, harmonized. "You have come," they say. Picard bows his head slightly. "We do not often get invitations from the powers that stand behind our stars," he says. "We could hardly refuse." The figure's eyes turn to Chief. "You are John 117, they say. Master Chief, Spartan. You stepped into a field between universes to chase a threat from your world. You did not ask for help. You did not ask for permission." Chief stands straight. "Yes," he says. "You broke your own anchor to keep the Borg from using it," the figure continues. "You risked your mind. You risked your life. You refused the offer to become a weapon that saved more lives by erasing more faces. Why?" He thinks about it. "Because I know what it is to be used," he says. "I know what it costs. And I know that numbers are not the whole story. You can save a lot of lives and still lose what makes them worth saving." The figure tilts their head. "We have watched your kind," they say. "Both in your universe and in this one. You burn bright and brief. You make wars and music. You make cruel plans and small kindnesses. Your story is messy. It is hard to judge." They look at Picard. "You are Jean-Luc Picard," they say. "You have stood in our court before. You have been told that humanity was on trial, that you were dangerous and interesting." Picard's lips twitch. "I remember," he says. "I remember being told that the trial never ends. It does not," the figure says. "But sometimes we move from one charge to another." They rise from the seat. "Now, we judge not just humanity," they say. "We judge what you do with power that was not meant for you. Forerunner fire, Borg hunger, Q curiosity. You have tied them together through this one soldier. There will be a price. The question is who pays it and how." They step closer to Chief. "You cannot stay as you are," they say. "Your anchor will tear you and others apart. The Borg will keep pushing. Our own laws will warp if this knot remains loose." They lift a hand. "3 paths," they say. "You will see them. You will choose." The light around them deepens. Picard, Troy, Worf, and Data feel themselves fall away, as if pushed back to the edge of the plaza. They are still there, still watching, but the space around Chief and the figure stretches, becomes something else. The first path blooms before him like a vision, but the choice will not be made yet. For now, the court sets the rules of the game and the limits of his power before showing him what each road will cost. Power Scaling Interlude 2. In this new state, the Master Chief's slip space anchor is no longer a simple bridge. It is a valve controlled by his will and watched by higher powers. He can open it to bend local space, to stand where enemies stand, or to shield others from small tears. But each use sends pain through his nerves and marks him with a brighter signal that the Borg and the court can see. He can never again cross universes by accident. Any such transit will require consent from the crossroads, and the more he forces the anchor, the shorter his lifespan becomes. His strength in battle remains great, but now every desperate use of his new power carries a clear cost. He spends not just energy, but years of his own life and trust from those watching beyond the stars. The light around John 117 thickens until the court feels far away. The figure of the judge stands before him, still shifting form. Sometimes human, sometimes light, sometimes a calm shape that is nothing like any body at all. Their eyes never change. They are steady. 3 paths, they say again. Each one changes you. Each one changes the worlds tied to you. Watch. The space beside them ripples. A door of clear light opens. Inside it, Chief sees his own universe. He sees the UNSC Infinity hanging over a blue planet. He sees Marines on a steel deck. He hears human voices on old radio bands. The sight hits him like a punch. Home. The word hurts. This is the path of return, the judge says. You go back to your war. We weaken your anchor, so the Borg can no longer use it. The tear between these universes will seal. The flood and your own enemies will still hunt you, but you will fight them on your ground. Chief watches the vision. He sees himself step out of a slipspace flare onto Infinity's hangar deck. People stop and stare. Lasky walks forward, older, tired, but smiling. Chief takes off his helmet. The faces blur a little, like a memory that never quite focuses. There is a cost, the judge says. Your time here will fade, slowly, like mist. You will remember that you went somewhere strange, that you saw new stars, but not the names, not the faces. The girl on the plaza, Picard, Troy, Worf, they will be shadows in your mind. You will not remember what you did for this galaxy, or what it did for you. He feels that like a cut. He sees in the vision how, years later, he sits alone in an armory, cleaning his rifle. A thought flickers across his mind. A starship that is not UNSC. A voice that is not Cortana. It slips away before he can catch it. If you do not remember, the judge says, you cannot be hurt by what you left behind. You cannot be torn by split loyalties. Your past will be simpler. Your duty will be clear. Many lives in your own universe will be saved because you return with warnings of what the Borg might become, and a changed anchor that the flood cannot touch. Your timeline will hold. Chief watches the faces. He sees Marines who will live because he came back. He sees worlds that will not fall. He sees Cortana's memory in his mind, a little brighter because there are no new burdens on top of the old ones. He also sees New Berlin. The vision shifts. The plaza is empty where he once stood. The Borg lattice grows without him there to break its first testbed. Starfleet still fights, but slower, with less warning. More worlds fall. They win in the end, maybe, but not the same way. Not with the same number of people left to tell the story. The door of light closes. The judge lifts their hand and opens another. This is the path of the free agent, they say. You stay in this universe, but you do not bind yourself to any one chain of command or law. You act where you think you are needed. You use your anchor as you wish. Inside the door, he sees himself. He is stronger there. The energy in his bones burns clean. He moves between worlds without asking. One day he stands on a Romulan warbird, stopping a coup. The next he drops into a Borg sphere and tears its heart out before it ever reaches Federation space. He shows up where disasters are about to begin and breaks them in half. Your legend grows, the judge says. Children on many worlds tell stories of the green giant who appears when things are worst. You save thousands, millions, but you stand outside Starfleet, outside the Federation Council, outside Klingon High Command. You answer to no one. He watches again. In one scene, he refuses an order from Starfleet Command to stand down. He thinks their plan will waste lives. He acts alone, and he is right. The outcome is better. Fewer die. In another, blocks a Klingon fleet from attacking a Borg ship in a way that would have caused massive loss. Worf stands on a bridge, torn between duty to his friend and duty to his people. In time, the judge says, you become a fracture line. Some see you as a guardian. Some see you as a threat. Allies argue over whether to trust you. Enemies plan around your unpredictability. Wars are started and prevented because of what you might do. He sees a dark scene. A Starfleet captain refuses to wait for him. They attack a Borg node without his help, knowing he might arrive and tell them to hold back. They lose half their crew. Later, in a closed room, admirals and council members whisper about how to control him, how to stop him, how to build weapons that can counter him if he turns. Free power, the judge says, is fire. It can warm and it can burn. Without a clear mandate, you must write your own rules. Each choice saves some and damns others. Civil conflict grows. The galaxy never fully trusts you. You save more lives than in the path of return, but you also break more bonds. The second door closes. The judge opens the third. This is the path of the sanctioned servant, they say. You stay, you serve, you place your strength under law, not just the law of one world, but a new compact tied to this court. Inside, the vision unfolds. He sees himself aboard the Enterprise again, but the ship is different. Her hull bears a new symbol beside the Starfleet arrowhead, a small forerunner ring crossed by a thin green line and a golden scale. His armor also has a new mark, glowing faintly on his shoulder. The same ring and scale, fused with a tiny Federation Delta and an old UNSC Eagle. You become the first knight of the crossroads, the judge says. That is just a word. The meaning is this. You act as our arm only within clear limits. You protect this universe, and others nearby, from threats that cross boundaries. Borg, slipspace wounds, things like Q when he gets bored. Q snorts softly from the edge of the plaza, but he does not deny it. Chief watches. He sees himself leading joint teams, Starfleet officers, Klingon warriors, even a few Romulan defectors. They board strange ships from yet another universe, stopping invaders before they can find home. He sees Picard, Janeway, Kira, and others stand in a chamber like this court and argue about where he should be sent and when. The cost, the judge says, is that you are not fully your own. We will bind your anchor into our network. We will place limits on when you can use its full power. You will not choose every mission. You will be sent. You will sometimes watch a nearby fire because a worse one burns further away. In one scene, he wants to go back to New Berlin to stop a small Borg cell from rising. The court holds him back because a larger tear to another timeline is about to open. Voyager goes to New Berlin instead. They win, but more people die than if he had been there. He feels that cost. You will also give up your chance to return home on your own terms, the judge says. If we send you back, it will be because the balance demands it, not because you wish it. You will not get to choose a last mission and then go home. We will choose when your service ends. The vision shows him at an older age. Armor still fits. Movements are slower but careful. He stands on a hull under a strange sky, watching a doorway close. Behind it lies a universe that might be his own. He feels the pull. He stays where he is because his orders tell him the real danger is here. Troy watches his face. He does not move much, but she feels the twist inside. Duty tugging one way, home tugging another. There is also this, the judge says. Because you serve under a mandate, we can strengthen your anchor without letting the Borg touch it. We can teach you to use it without tearing yourself apart. Your pain will be less than in the path of the free agent. Your lifespan will be longer than if you fight alone. Starfleet will build protocols around your use, and you will help write them. He sees training rooms. He sees hollow simulations where cadets learn crossroads protocols. He hears Picard's voice in one, explaining that even the strongest weapon must obey a shield. He sees his own voice in another, telling a room full of young officers that you always count the civilians first. In this path, the judge says, you save many lives, more than in the path of return, fewer than in the path of the free agent. But the galaxies you touch remain more stable. Trust holds longer. Your symbol does not cause as many fractures. The third door closes. The light fades back to the plaza. Picard, Troy, Worf, and Data stand where they were. Their faces show what they saw, even if they did not hear every word inside the visions. Janeway and Kira feel parts of it through their links. The judge looks at Chief. The court does not choose for you, they say. We only hold the scales. You have seen what you can. You know your own heart. Speak. No one else talks. Even Q stays silent. John 117 stands in the center of the plaza, armor scarred, anchor sore, mind heavy. He thinks of home. He thinks of Infinity's hangar, of Marines, of a blue Earth. He thinks of friends still fighting there. He wants to go back. Every part of him that was made for the UNSC leans toward that path. Return. Finish the war. Protect his own people. He also thinks of New Berlin. He remembers the girl's small hand in his, her eyes wide with fear. He thinks of Picard's face when he asked him to fight for our Earth. He thinks of Troy sitting by his bed, of Worf pulling him back from the collapsing field, of Data's calm voice, of Janeway's sharp insistence that they take this chance. He sees the Borg Forerunner ring burning. He sees the convergence clawing at his mind. He knows they will not stop with one universe. He looks at the second path. Free agent. No orders, no chain of command. He knows part of him likes that. Part of him is tired of being moved by others. Part of him thinks, if he chooses his own missions, maybe he can save more. Maybe he can be faster. Maybe he can stop every reach before it burns. But he remembers Spartan Prime. He remembers the way the mirror version of him talked about expendable assets. He knows how easy it is to look at a map and think in dots. How easy it is to forget that each dot is a face. If he lets himself be free with that kind of power, how long before he cuts the wrong line? He turns to the third path. Sanctioned servant. Knight of the crossroads. It sounds grand. It is really just another word for soldier with orders. He has been that his whole life. But this time, he thinks, I can help write the orders. He sees in the vision how he stands in rooms where big choices are made, not just on the ground, but at the table. He sees how he argues when someone wants to throw a small world away to protect a big one. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he does not, but he is there. He has a voice. He knows there will be days when he will want to go home and cannot. Days when he will want to act and be told no. Days when he will know he could save more if he broke the rules and does not, because breaking them would break too much else. He breathes once. This is not about numbers for me, he says aloud. His voice carries across the plaza. It is about doing the most good I can and still looking at who I am under the armor. He looks up at the judge. I choose the third path, he says. I stay, I serve, under rules, with limits, with people who will tell me when I am wrong. Troy's eyes shine. Picard lets out a very soft breath. Worf nods once, sharply. Data tilts his head, pleased. Janeway's voice comes faintly from a relay. Of course he does, she says. Q grins. I knew he was boring in the best way. The judge studies him. You give up the simple comfort of home, they say. You accept that you may never again stand on your own Earth. You accept that some lives you could have saved will be lost because you obey a strategy that sees a wider board. You accept pain and a shortened span, even if we soften it so that others can live longer. You accept that we will watch you and that sometimes we will say no. Yes, Chief says. And what do you demand in return? the judge asks. He thinks. Clear lines, he says. The people who give the orders must see the faces too. No secret wars that kill in the dark. No throwing away small worlds because they are small. If you ask me to stand between universes, you do not get to hide the cost. The judge nods slowly. A boundary clause, they say. You wish to bind not just yourself, but those who send you. Yes, he says, and one more thing. They wait. If there is ever a time when my being here puts my own universe at risk beyond what it can handle, he says, you send me back, even if I do not want to go, even if I say no. Someone has to protect them too. Picard closes his eyes for a heartbeat. He knows what it means to ask to be sent where he is needed most, even if his heart wants something else. The judge smiles just a little. You ask for duty, they say. You ask for chains with purpose. You ask to hold a shield instead of a throne. We can work with that. They lift both hands. Light gathers around Chief. It does not burn like the Borg's field. It is heavy, but clean. It fills his bones where the rough fuse he made used to sit. It wraps around his anchor, smoothing edges, sealing cracks. He feels new channels open, but each one has a lock. You may bend space within a narrow radius around you, the judge says. You may step across short gaps when the mission demands it. You may shield others from small tears. You may not open a path for entire fleets. You may not tear holes between universes on your own. Each time you push beyond these limits, you will feel pain. You will know you are close to a line. The light shifts. It touches his helmet. The crack vanishes. The visor clears. New symbols etch themselves along the edge. Tiny Forerunner glyphs for guard. A Federation Delta. A UNSC Eagle. A Bajoran spiral. A Klingon blade. They glow faintly green gold. Your armor now carries our mark, the judge says. You are recognized in this place, and a few like it as one who has taken the Crossroads Accord. On the Enterprise bridge, on Voyager, on the Defiant, new alerts flash. Each ship's emblem display gains a small side icon. A ring, a line, a scale. Data reads the data burst. Janeway scans the protocols. Kira sees a note that the prophets approve in their strange way. The judge turns to Picard. You will serve as his primary secular handler, they say. Your Federation will write a charter for his deployment. It will be reviewed in this court every so often. If you try to turn him into a secret, weapon without oversight, we will know. Picard nods. I would not do that, he says. But thank you. The judge looks at Worf. You will remind him of honor when orders and duty clash, they say. Worf thumps his chest. With pleasure, he says. They look at Data. You will watch the numbers, they say. You will tell him when his limits are near. Data nods. I will, he says. At the moment, his lifespan under this configuration is within acceptable parameters. Troy raises an eyebrow. Acceptable for whom? She asks. For him, Data says, though we may not agree with his standards. The judge looks at Troy. You will watch his heart, they say. You will tell him when he is losing himself, when the armor starts talking louder than the man. Troy nods, throat tight. I will, she says. The judge raises their voice so all can hear. Thus is the mandate set, they say. John 117, Master Chief, Spartan, Knight of the Crossroads. You are granted the right to act across certain boundaries, limited by this court, guided by Starfleet, and bound by your own oath. You will show mercy where you can. You will strike where you must. You will count the faces, not just the numbers. If you break this trust, the power will be taken, and your memory of these paths may be cut. The light recedes. Chief stands on the plaza, breathing hard but steady. His armor feels heavier and lighter at once. He knows deep in his bones that if he tried right now to open a huge slip-space portal, it would sear him from the inside and fail. He also knows that if a small tear opened near an innocent, he could step into it and hold it shut for a few seconds more. The judge sits back on the light seat. The court is done with this matter for now, they say. Return to your wars. Try not to break too much on the way. Q claps slowly. Nicely done, he says. A little boring, a little noble, very you. Picard gives Q a sharp look. Can we go home? He asks. Q looks mildly offended. You are already home, Jean-Luc, he says. You are just still learning how big the house is. He snaps his fingers. The court vanishes. The Enterprise E hangs in normal space above New Berlin again. Voyager and Defiant are in their old positions. Time seems to have barely moved. To the people on the colony, only a few hours have passed since the Borg attack and the strange battle in the sky. In orbit, the hybrid ship's wreckage drifts, still glowing softly as recovery teams move in. On the bridge, everyone exhales. Report, Picard says. No Borg vessels in local space, Data says. The slip-space anomalies have collapsed. I am reading only a faint controlled signal from the Master Chief's anchor, well within safe limits. Subspace chatter shows Starfleet Command is very interested in what just happened, Riker says dryly. We have a lot of explaining to do. Picard almost smiles. For once, I look forward to a long report, he says. In the turbo lift, Master Chief stands with Worf and Troy. Troy watches him. How do you feel? She asks. He thinks about it. Taller, he said. Heavier, tired, but clear. She nods. Clear is good, she says. Worf grins. You have a Klingon's death ahead of you, he says. Many battles, a worthy end. You are fortunate. Chief gives a small sound that might almost be a laugh. We will see, he says. The doors open on the transporter room. Picard waits there, along with Janeway and Kira, whose images appear on side panels. We have work the court does not care about, Janeway says. We have to write charters and security protocols and training manuals. We have to convince the Federation Council that this is not the beginning of a secret army. Kira nods. And I have to explain to the prophets why I walked into their neighbor's meeting, she says. They are already giving me strange dreams. Picard looks at Chief. But first, he says, there is someone on the surface who would like to see you. Chief tilts his head. The girl, Picard says. Her name is Alina. She keeps asking when the green giant will come back. Her parents think it might help her sleep again if she sees that you are still here, and that the Borg are not. Chief considers. He thinks of all the times he has slipped away after a battle, a ghost in green. He thinks of all the people who saw him only as a weapon and never as a person. He thinks of the court telling him to count faces. Beam me down, he says. The transporter shimmer takes him. He appears in the same plaza where he first fell. The broken stones have been patched. Borg drones are gone. New trees have been planted along the edges. Children play near a fountain, watched by parents and security officers. Alina stands with her mother near the spot where he caught the wreck. She looks up when the light fades. Her eyes go wide. You came back, she says. Yes, he says. He kneels so they are closer to the same level. Her mother looks nervous, but grateful. The security officer nearby relaxes a little when he sees two small emblems on Chief's shoulder, the Federation Delta and the new ring and scale. Are the monsters gone? Alina asks. For now, Chief says. Some are still out there, but we have people watching. We have plans. We will be ready. She studies his helmet. Do you get scared? She asks. He thinks. Sometimes, he says. But I keep moving. I do what I can. I do not give up. She nods, very serious. I had bad dreams, she says, about the needles, about the big ship in the sky. But Mama says the Enterprise is watching, and now you are too, so maybe I can sleep. He feels something shift inside. Not the anchor, something else. I will be watching, he says, sometimes from far away, but I will not forget this place. He knows he mean it. The court may have taken many choices from him. This they did not take. Alina smiles. Thank you, she says. He stands. Picard's voice comes softly in his ear. You did not have to do that, he says. Yes, Chief says. I did. He looks up. The Enterprise E hangs high above, a small, bright shape against the sky. Somewhere beyond, Voyager and Defiant move on to other missions. Somewhere even further, the court watches with calm eyes. He knows the Borg are not done. The Convergence still has fragments in the dark. The Borg still hunger. They still have data from his mind, even if they cannot reach it the same way. Somewhere, in some hidden node, a smaller echo of Spartan Prime may be trying to rise again. Rival factions will move. Some in Starfleet will fear the new power tied to one soldier and one court. Some in the Klingon Empire will want their own knight. Some Romulans will plan to steal the tech. Shadow groups will whisper about how to turn the Crossroads Accord into an advantage. He also knows this. He is not alone. There is a captain who has stood before gods and held his ground. There is a Klingon who will remind him that honor matters. There is an android who will tell him when the numbers lie. There is a counselor who will knock on his armor when it gets too thick. There is a little girl who will sleep better because he stayed. He touches the new symbol on his shoulder. He feels the weight of his new mandate like a shield on his back. Then he calls for beam up. Golden light takes him, and the work of being a guardian between worlds begins. Years later, in a quiet bar on Deep Space Nine, two freighter pilots trade stories. Did you hear, one says, about the Borg hive that tried to open a hole near the Badlands last month? They say a green armored giant stepped out of nothing, held the tear shut with his bare hands, while the Defiant and Voyager blasted the node. Then he vanished again. Urban legend, the other says. Like the one about the time a human in armor stood on the hull of a Dominion battleship and punched a slipstream torpedo back into its launcher. The first pilot shrugs. Maybe, he says. But New Berlin has a statue of him now. Big one. Kids climb on it. They say he talks to them sometimes in their dreams. Tells them to keep moving, to do what they can, to not give up. The second pilot smiles. Sounds like good advice, he says. In the court of the Crossroads, the judge watches a tiny glowing thread that marks one human life. It burns steady, moving between stars, bending space in small, careful ways when needed, holding back tears when the balance demands it. It is not perfect. It makes mistakes. It hurts. It keeps going. Q appears at the judge's side. You know, he says, for a species that throws rocks at their own glass houses, they do make interesting pieces sometimes. The judge's eyes stay on the thread. This one chose chains with purpose, they say. It is hard to do that. We will see where it leads. Q smirks. And if he breaks your rules, he asks, then we will judge again, the judge says, as we always do. They fall silent. Between universes, a single armored figure stands on the edge of a new wound, ready to hold it shut or step through, as the mandate and his own quiet heart decide. Codex note: the Crossroads Accord recognizes Master Chief as a limited inter-universal agent under shared jurisdiction of the Federation Council and the Court, bound by strict deployment laws and personal oath.